After this new weapon was discovered, almost everyone was shocked and scared, so the peace representatives came up to discuss about it. Iron and Bedrock insisted into declaring war on Lapis, but the rest agreed to prohibit and take away all the weapons produced, and shut down all of Lapis's chemist research labs. However, unknown to the Union, Lapis had stored some weapons in their secret bunker, which posed a threat to the peace everyone was hoping. And to make matters worse, a Lapis veteran living in Melon assassinated a Melon top general, and Melon declares war. And that was it. A war had started, and it is the third Great Minecraft War. When the news that Melon had declared war on Lapis spread, people were more worried than ever, afraid that the war between the two giants would cause severe destruction and casualties. The first action taken to stop this crisis was a meeting made by the leaders of Java, Melon, and Lapis to weaken this tension. However, the action went backward, and the elite force was called to stop the fight between the leaders of Melon and Lapis. The war started without a doubt, and Lapis found them running away, although having way better gear. The peace representatives met again, and Netherite and Bedrock would support Melon, while Java and Iron disagreed on even starting the war at all, stating that it would be prevented if the security didn't let that veteran in. Meanwhile, Melon was pushing into Lapis, but the deeper they went, the more dangerous it would be. As the war went on, many Melon citizens living in Lapis found themselves being targeted by the local police, and the nearby kingdoms also found themselves being attacked by Lapis's army. Melon then sent a small force to support these kingdoms, but as they pushed deeper, they were met with heavier resistance, and the Lapis's leader even made a speech to recruit more people to join the army and fight back. And as they were prepared for a turning point, all they need is one victory near the Cobalt River.
Lucky for Lapis, they didn't wait long before Melon advanced toward the Cobalt River, and the chance for a comeback was here. The Melon army decided to bridge over the river, but the Lapis archers gave them a hard time. And even though they had a sheer number, they were no match for the TNT cannons and the few new numbers of the secret weapons, and after a few hours, the Melon army ran away defeated. Then, Melon was pushed out of Lapis's territory, and Lapis sieged Melon's capital, Etherholm. The end for Melon was near, so they advanced into Lapis for one last time, but they were bombarded with this new weapon Lapis called the Catalyst Core. The Melon army was blasted into bits, and Etherholm was in danger. The peace representatives met again, and this time, knowing that this Catalyst Core was a big threat to regaining peace in the end, Iron and Bedrock finally agreed to aid Melon. Iron sent their 72nd Infantry Division, and Netherite also sent their Union Elite Force to reinforce Melon's defense force. Lapis, who overheard this conversation, had no choice but to ally with Gold and Diamond, forming the Axis. And now, with both sides prepared for a fight, the Battle of Etherholm is coming. The Lapis army dug a trench encircling Etherholm, aiming to starve out its defenders. However, on the third day, the Lapis commander decided to launch a full assault. Lapis archers provided covering fire as waves of Lapis soldiers charged forward and blasted a massive hole through the city's front gates. But Melon had anticipated an attack through the gates and positioned their troops just behind to counter the initial surge. They fiercely clashed with Lapis soldiers, managing to hold them back. However, they hadn't accounted for Lapis's TNT cannons that soon leveled parts of the city's thick walls, and the wall crumbled down. With the city defenses faltering, Melon's forces began to lose hope. Just then, Union reinforcements arrived, led by Iron's infantry, who caught the Lapis soldiers by surprise. Netherite's elite force launched a brutal ambush on the remaining Lapis troops entrenched outside the city. Seeing no end to the relentless reinforcements, Lapis's forces retreated, abandoning their hold on Etherholm. With the city secured, Melon reclaimed all the land they had lost, and Lapis was pushed back to defend their homeland once more. As the fight went on, Melon pushed deeper and deeper into Lapis territory, and Lapis, who was preparing for another comeback, only sent a small group of soldiers to target the Melon supply lines, but even they managed to outnumber Lapis. And they fought in the exact same place where Melon ran away months ago, but this time, Melon was more prepared than ever. Knowing all the weaknesses of the defense line, they quickly won the battle, found the remaining secret weapons, and advanced toward Lapis's capital, Lazelheim. Knowing that they won't win the battle, Lapis's leader ordered his men to build 3 layers of the front gate and put TNT underneath the city, blasting the Union's army when the city fell. And now, as the Union's army advanced closer and closer to Lazelheim, the Axis leaders met once again. The Union had arrived at the battlefield. Melon's army charged forward with Iron's archers firing as cover. Melon had brought 2 of the remaining 5 catalyst cores, and Iron had also brought an abandoned TNT cannon Lapis had used during the battle over the Cobalt River. The Melon army had defeated the first Lapis defense lines and brought the catalyst cores to the gates and blew it up. The explosion completely destroyed the gates and they stepped inside the city. To the other side, the TNT cannons had blasted a huge hole in the walls like the ones did on Etherholm, while a small group mined through the obsidian walls, and the city is attacked on 3 sides. Lapis's army fought hard, but they were outnumbered and outmatched. But just when hope was lost, the Lapis reinforcements led by Lapis's best general came to stop the Allies.
Luckily, the Union's army spotted the reinforcements, and the elite force, led by this guy, destroyed the reinforcements and Lapis's hope for a comeback. And as the final Lapis soldiers died, their allies had won the battle and the war. They had captured all the remaining survivors who had surrendered, but one Lapis general sneaked to the self-destruct lever and turned it. In a flash, the entire city exploded, and the rest survivors ignited the remaining TNTs in the houses and on the farm. After a few blinding, deafening seconds, all that was left of the city was a big crater and ruins of the amazing structures built. The Axis leaders, who were hidden underground, also ignited the explosives, while the Lapis's leader jumped off into the void. And that's it, Lapis surrendered, and the Third Great Minecraft War ended.
The war had ended, Lapis had become a puppet state of Melon, and the Union had established a new governance system built right on top of the ruins of Lazulheim that was quite similar to the United Nations. They called the United and Union. But still, peace is finally here in the end.
Or is it?